completed, we will turn things over to the national broadcast of Fox News Radio. Speaking of national, we go now to Senator Marsha Blackburn. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning to you. It's so good to be with you, Steve. Thanks for having me back on.
Well, Senator, thank you very much for joining us. Hey, before we talk about your campaign, I do want to get your overall sense, especially of the presidential election. Election day, of course, tomorrow. You are one of the campaign co-chairs in Tennessee for President Trump. So how do you feel going into this tomorrow?
I feel really good about where the numbers are, not only for President Trump in Tennessee, but nationally it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. Every vote is going to count. And for your listeners that have friends over in North Carolina and Virginia, be sure that they vote. We all should be very active on social media, getting people out to vote and making certain that every vote is in the box. And Steve, the other thing is we would like for President Trump to win the popular vote as well as the electoral college.
Hey, Senator, I apologize. We're losing you. Barely can hear you.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, there you go. We're good.
Yes, and we want to make certain every single vote is in the box. So let's get everybody out to vote and have President Trump win the Electoral College and the popular vote.
We're joined by Senator Marsha Blackburn, of course, of Tennessee. And, Senator, we're seeing the polling out even this morning is just, as one veteran pollster said nationally, it is the tightest election he's ever seen in his 50 years of polling. What are you've got a lot of information, obviously we don't have, you're very, very much on the inside there. What, if as we, watch the election returns tomorrow night, what are you paying attention to tomorrow night, especially early on? What are you going to be watching?
I'm going to be watching in Tennessee what people say in their exit polls, the issues that are important to them, because as you and I have discussed, with Tennesseans, what we've heard so much about is the economy and the border and illegal immigration and people wanting to get this country back on track. So we'll see if that's what actually drove a lot of people to the polls. I think the other thing we're going to watch is how those issues hold up and how they affect what is going to happen nationally and in these battleground states. When you look at Georgia and North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Virginia, some of these states, what actually got people to the polls? Was it the border? Was it the economy? Was it two tiers of justice? Was it the country on the wrong track? Was it men and women's sports? But I think we're all going to enjoy hearing those comments about what drove people to the polls.
We are joined this morning by Senator Marsha Blackburn, and you, Senator, obviously have an election this time around, and Representative Gloria Johnson is your opponent. She's obviously in advertising taken a lot of, let's be honest here, a lot of shots at you and your record. How do you respond to that this morning?
We have focused on the issues people told us they wanted to hear about, and that is the economy and jobs and our standing in the world and men and women's sports and all of those issues. And I think that Tennesseans have responded very well. We've been very pleased with what we've heard from them.
And we're again joined by Senator Blackburn. Senator, what are the things? And you talked about the exit polls and finding out what made people want to go vote. But what is important to Tennesseans in your opinion?
What we hear most is the economy and inflation. Steve, as we have talked over the last year about the issue of inflation, if you look at where it was when Trump left office, it was at 1.4%. Today, it's at 20.5%. That's how much of an increase we have seen. So we've heard a lot about that. People are very concerned about the impact of illegal immigration and how that affects our communities and people coming into the state without local and state officials being told that they were going to have illegal immigrants coming in. We're continuing to hear about that. We've heard a lot about concerns over China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, that axis of evil. And so our focus has been to talk about what we have done and what we will do on those issues.
All right, Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, anything you want to add here before we go?
I think that's about it.
Okay. Senator, thank you. Hey, I really appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank